Hello, in the next few minutes we will give you a quick overview of Axxerion Commercial Lease Management Solution. Please feel free to contact us for more information and personalized demo. For the demo, we go to a standard browser, access the URL for the demo site, and log in as a lease manager, in this case Albert Chan. When you log in, the system is role-based and displays a homepage that's specifically designed for that role. You see the name on the upper right-hand side. You see the tiles that are shortcuts to different functions to make it very simple to access properties, spaces, contracts and leases, contacts, tenants, employees, requests, and reports. On the left-hand side, we have the detail menu. If you have details that are not available as a tile, you can always access them in the detailed menu, and you can collapse it for more space at any time. Within the home page, you also have these panels that are shortcuts and also reminders for different functions that you need to perform, such as end of a contract reminder. On the right-hand side, you see an example of a dashboard. And you can set up dashboards for almost anything within the system very easily, dynamic data. You have also sub tabs that indicate the sub home pages. So, for example, within the accounting, you can go to rent roll and trial balance, etc. As a drop-down. Or if you wanted to see the expiring leases in this year, you just click that tab, and that would get you to a page that has the graphics as well as the detail of the leases that are expiring this year. Now let's go take a look at the property. So we go to the home page, click the tile for properties, and we have a search list page where you can click the search and see all your accessible properties. In this case, you get 38 items. Each item is shown as a line, as one property with some basic information about it, a picture, location, any field that you would like to display, and a kind of a list page. So it's 100% configurable based on what you need very easily. So you see hierarchy also, like a campus setting or a building in a parking lot. The indentation indicates a relation between the properties there. If you want to search for a specific keyword like ABC, you see that the system finds, in this case, 5 properties that have the ABC keyword in there. You can also have the save searches that you can define as buttons yourselves. If I open a property that's the ABC headquarters, you see the details about that property. It starts with the general tab, which has the high-level important information for that property: location, owner, property manager, space manager, the type of property. You can define whatever type that you would commonly use. Hours of operation, depending on the type, you can get some fields that are specific to that. The space and occupancy, building area, land area, total area size, and then as an example of the connection to other environments, you have the weather pattern. So if you click that, it goes into a separate tab and it shows you the details on the weather. Here you can come back. You have also these additional tabs that are available for any additional information. For example, in the team, you can see whoever has got a responsibility with this property. Property manager, broker, technician, facility manager, and you give them rights for viewing and editing items. Within the areas, you have the floors and the spaces in this property. So it starts with the building at the top, and you see hierarchy, the floors and the spaces is shown with an indentation, and each line indicates the rolled up amounts of square footage, the usage, the names, capacity, and other space-related information. If you use the plus and minuses, you can collapse or expand at any level. So here, for example, we collapse at the floor level. So you see the floor 1, and I open up the floor 1. You see the corridors and workstations, conference rooms. You can basically set up any level of information you want, units or detailed spaces within that. Each one of them indicates the square footage, the occupancy, and also there's a QR or QR code, and barcode that you can use. If you wanted to see the information in a floor plan mode, you click the thematic map, and that gives you option of selecting overlays. So it uses a map or the drawing as a background, and then puts a overlay on top of that based on the information you want from the database. In this case, we go to occupancy info. We see the legend on the right hand side. It's occupied, vacant, common, collective, not occupiable, and then the drawing automatically gets colors and also information that's coming from the database. So it combines them dynamically for you in there. If you hold the mouse over any of the spaces, you can also have additional data that would highlight for you. If you click a space, you open up the space. In this case, we go into Office 220. You see ABC products, Hillary Kerner. You see the occupancy start date and end date, and the history of that. You have also assets that are associated with the space, or you can have also associated with the employee or the person as well. Now let's go to a lease from a property. So there are different ways of finding a lease. In this case, we open up a property and go back to the one that we were looking at. Click the Contracts tab. That's where you find all the contracts and leases listed. Each line indicates a contract or a lease. And then you have some of the important parameters and showing. There's a thumbnail that accesses the document, the main document, whatever that you would like to see very quickly. In this case, there's a lease abstract. You can examine that. You hit the back button, you go back to the list, and if you wanted to you see the party 1, party 2, start and end date. These are again configurable. You can display whatever fields or attributes you need right away. If you open up the lease by clicking the hyperlink, you go to the details of that lease. In the general tab shows you the reference and also the status is active, expired, etc. A lease ID. Party 1 is yourselves, and party 2, the other party, would be the tenant or the landlord, depending on what the direction of the lease is, payable or receivable. And then the dates and the term. When was it signed? When was the original start date? How long was the original length of the lease? And then how does it renew? And then what would be the term of notice for any changes or official notices? The current period, which is the rent period, any options, and expected expiration of the lease would be shown in there. On the right hand side, you have some parameters, shows the connection to the property, the main document, a thumbnail that showed up in the beginning. At the bottom, you see the team involved with the lease, any notes that people have put in against this lease, and then a series of documents. It could be pictures, letters, any document. You can page through them by just clicking this and then clicking the arrow to just keep paging through any one of these documents, and then clicking the double arrows to go back there. The documents can be generated by the system, or it can be uploaded. Looking at the Lease Financials, click the Financials tab. This is 2 sections. The top section shows you the grossed up values, annual amount, and monthly amount, period amount, and then the start date. And then right below that is the itemization of the lease. You can put as many items as need be. In this case, we have CAM, rent, management fee, etc. And it could be one time or recurring payment, monthly, quarterly, yearly, etc. one time basis. It could be lump sum, or it could be per square foot. You have a lot of options here to deploy. Also, each line can connect to the account codes that would be used for capitalization or reporting to the financials. At the bottom, you see the obligations. It shows the connection to the space, and then right below that obligations, the current obligation, current invoice period, previous invoice period, and then the history of the lease. So this will show you the line items and also the status of the item. Was it invoiced? Was it paid? Was it received? Lease notifications are some of them are automatically created for end of lease, end of a period, any increases, and then some you can put in yourselves. The schedule is at the top, and then based on the schedule at the bottom, the notifications are created and sent to the right people. And once they take care of it or take any action, it would be recorded and shows it's completed or open, and who did the who took the action on that. So generating lease documents would be just clicking the forms, create forms. In this case, you have a few options: commercial lease agreement, lease rider clauses, abstract, notice of expiration, notice of increase, and another abstract form. If we generate the abstract, in this case, for example, it would use a template that you would feed into the system, and the template would have all the fonts and the colors, logos, sections, and then it would bring in the database information, inserts them in the right places in there. It's similar to the mail merge that Microsoft Word has, and it generates the document for you. The document can be generated in Word or a PDF. Here's the history of the lease, here's the clauses. So you can basically decide what you want to show in that document. You can email it from here, or you can download it and print it. As an example of the reports, we can take a look at the rent roll. So we go to accounting, rent roll. And then within this you have a filter. You can select the different type of leases, the statuses, the tenants or landlords. In this case we pick office lease, active ones, and then click OK. And it would generate for us, the based on the property. The column 2 shows the property, ABC headquarters, U.S. office, the Sky Tower, etc. Then it shows the lease type, the dates, the term, the pricing, and so on. And it rolls them all up and totals them. If you wanted to generate it in a format that is printable or emailable, you can just go to PDF list, and this is again based on your own template that the system generates. There's a variety of other reports available to you. There's a obligations report, general reports. These are groups, and then if you wanted to see what's in the group, you click the magnifying glass and you can see the items in there. And if you want to run them, basically you click the magnifying glass again and it would run that for you. Please feel free to contact us with any questions or additional demos.